Sustrans interviews the candidates for the West Midlands mayoral elections 2021.
Hi, I'm Liam Byrne. I'm the MP for Hodge Hill and Labour's Shadow Mayor for the West Midlands.
My name is Steve Caldwell. I'm the Leader of the Opposition on Solihull Council, and I am the Green Party's candidate to be the next Mayor of the West Midlands.
Hello there. I'm Andy Street, and I'm the current Mayor of the West Midlands and also the Conservative candidate for the next mayoral term.
Hi, I'm Jenny Wilkinson. I'm the Liberal Democrat candidate for West Midlands Mayor.
What role does an active travel commissioner have within your team? Will they have some autonomy in providing quality assurance that high standards of programmes and infrastructure are delivered? The West Midlands Combined Authority have a local cycling and walking infrastructure plan, or an LCWIP. Currently, the plan is not detailed. Sustrans wants to see it developed to make it into a working, actionable plan. Infrastructure should be designed to a high standard that is safe and accessible to all.
We need an active travel commissioner who is not going to pull their punches. There's no point in having one unless you've got an active travel commissioner who can actually highlight where routes are simply not safe or are just inadequate, or they've got these terrible snagging problems that mean that you haven't got full journeys. What other cities are doing, like, say, Barcelona, Zaragoza, Madrid, places in Germany, Paris to a degree, is they're actually using digital democracy software, digital democracy technology, in a much more radical way to help people do participatory planning and indeed participatory budgeting. So I have been one of the pioneers of this technology in the UK. I deployed it here about 3 or 4 years ago. I would like to bring that approach to the way that we do a lot of transport planning, because transport planning is so complicated. Where there's a real benefit from getting lots of input into where people think routes need to be changed, routes need to be made safe, and crucially where those kind of broken journeys are at the moment. So what I hope an active travel commissioner can do is not only speak truth to power, but also help galvanise this quite radical new way of doing things. So it's a much more grassroots led, much more bottom up approach to doing transport planning than we have today.
So I don't know if it would necessarily be an active travel commissioner per se. One of the things that the Green Party is very keen on is the idea of giving local people more of a say in how policy is made for them. We have this concept of nothing about us without us, which we try and apply throughout as much policy making as we can. So I think what I would like to do actually is convene a citizens' assembly on the topic of how we bring active travel forward and how we hit some of those targets that have been set out. And of course, that would need some sort of structure around it. But yes, it would absolutely be the case that that assembly would make recommendations that I, as a mayor, would look to implement. So I really see this as something that the people should be leading on.
So the answer to the question is we will be recruiting a active travel commissioner executive, and that will be a clear manifesto commitment. We've managed it within the existing resources of Transport for the West Midlands thus far, but no, the question is right. The time has come for a dedicated person on this, and they need to be the sort of internal agitator, challenger, champion. What they also need to do very specifically is to make sure that we are making the progress that we say we will make, particularly to look at the filling out of the Starley network. We've got a lot of mileage still to produce. Working with partner organisations, that's very important, people like the Canals and River Trusts, and of course, all of our local authorities. There's a really important role as well about working with government. I think, frankly, the money that the government's put on the table, and there's a lot of money still to come, it hasn't necessarily been best used in all cases. So that quality reassurance that comes for that will be a key role of this person as well. And then there's the whole sort of communication piece, making sure the uptake of cycling amongst all groups is as good as it could be. So there's a big piece there on the whole sort of public information piece. And then the last piece is, of course, the whole design standards piece. We have specified standards and, of course, the lesson of the last year is it's really, really important that you do fulfill that standard. And this person will be holding us to account to make sure that we do deliver exactly that. So yeah, a big role, and I will be pleased to, after the election, make the appointment.
I think having a role and a commitment is really important. For me, it's important to be formed by experts. I'm not an expert on cycling. I'm not an expert on what's the best way of getting more people cycling, getting people moving out of cars and towards active travel. So for me, it's really important to have somebody in place who is focused specifically on that and who has that skills and that expertise, and also working with partner organisations like Sustrans to bring in that sort of skills and knowledge and make things happen. I think it's all very well having these sort of plans in place and these great ideas of these networks, but it's all really about action and implementation. So I do think that there's an important role to have a dedicated person focused on active travel to actually make sure these things happen and actually turn those plans into reality. So it's all about having somebody to implement those plans and have the authority and the autonomy and the budget to actually make this a reality for us across the West Midlands.